I'm gonna dig real deep into the cooker for this one. Do men still want traditional women? And if so, what do you think a traditional woman is?
Welcome to the pressure cooker.
A traditional woman in today's time, or
Traditional woman. It's not. Does it has it changed? It has it shifted.
man,
What would you consider a traditional woman?
mm, it's gonna have to start with her values.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional woman. See, cause I guess the reason why I say that, some men want a woman to cook, clean, but he wanted to dress sexy. He wanted to, be kind of sassy a little, have a wild side, open minded. Well, if you look at the traditional women, how they painted the traditional woman,
Mm-hmm.
she was kind of gouty,
Mm-hmm.
church going woman, uh, really was a stay at home with the kids type,
Mm-hmm.
cook
Nurturer.
and
Mm-hmm.
clean, really wasn't outspoken, uh, that type of woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if if that's what guys today, they say they want it, but I don't know if that's really what they want. You
Why?
know,
Why would you think men would want a traditional woman today?
well, uh, you find more men talk about marrying women from the strip club and
Mm-hmm.
women that's on only fan type of women and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. You'll find those women are getting married pretty easy,
Mm-hmm.
pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
So they marrying somebody, not marrying themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, so those type of women was back in the days, was considered women of the night, and
Mm-hmm.
they was, in so many words, but not literally, they
Mm-hmm.
was pretty much stoned
Mm-hmm.
for living that kind of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how people took that. They wasn't celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's okay if I build my way up, being or living a certain type of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I can, provide myself a good living, living being a lady of the night,
Mm-hmm.
being a 304.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, nobody, they don't take a second look. They don't,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you found a way to do it. But back in the day, you could do that, but people would frown upon it. Don't matter how successful you became,
Mm-hmm.
people would still frown upon that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, only certain section of underground section where people go, and they kind of live that lifestyle where they would think that, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. She's all right. But
So a part of being a traditional woman, uh, in the past was, being a virgin. Do you still think men want virgin women?
I don't know what these cats want, to be honest with you. You got a lot of dudes out there talking about, I want a woman with experience. What type of experience you talking about? You know,
Okay. So why would a man say he wants a woman with experience? Do you think he placed sex at the top of his hierarchy? Is that the most important thing? Past her being beautiful and having a nice body, do you think how she pleases him is important to him? That's why he says he want an experienced woman.
I would think so. I would think that most men don't want no inexperienced woman.
Mm-hmm.
uh I ain't gonna say no most men. That's not how I want to word that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of guys that say that, they want a woman that already know what to do when they get in the bedroom and how
Mm-hmm.
to do it, and they can be all these different type of things that he wants to play out in his head.
So sexual, uh, being sexually experienced seems to be a better gratification for men these
Man,
days.
dudes marrying porn stars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that used to be a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Why?
dudes are marrying porn stars, and
Why
that's
was it?
not to say that the porn stars wouldn't get married, but
Mm-hmm.
they openly are proud to say, that's my woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a whole porn star, and she been doing porn her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna, criticize nobody for what they're doing or be
Mm-hmm.
judgmental or whatever. And that's the route you want. Everybody got to, you got a right to live your life how you want to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't cry about the results.
Well, I have always been a firm believer that a man should marry the type of woman that he desires. Um, Sometimes that creates the discipline he needs, because when you tend to marry somebody that people think you should be with, there's something still inside you that desires something else, and typically that will tempt you to go outside of your marriage. But when you marry what you truly want and close out what people think, you know, you tend to be happy. And then in your marriage, you're the only one that needs to worry about being happy, because you're the one who got to go to bed with her and wake up with her and deal with her. So if she's what you desire, I think that's what you should marry, and not let society dictate who you marry.
Yeah, well, that's how, on paper,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it should be, or at least how I think it should be. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, it's very difficult for people to block it out because that's just how they was raised. If you
Mm-hmm.
if you got, especially if you got parents that was raised like that, and that's their way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
because you got parents that will, want their children to be a certain way because of what, the perception of family members, the
Mm-hmm.
perception of the group of people they hang around,
Mm-hmm.
their circle of friends. So they want their daughters, their sons to be a certain way, and once you're raised like that, you take on that type of idea. You think that's how it's supposed to be, you
But
know.
at the end of the day, what quality or what do those people add to your life? Like, how do they benefit your life? So, why does it matter? They don't benefit your life. Them, the prestige that they may say to your mom, giving them accolades on you or what you did, how does that benefit your life? Like, when you go home at night and close the door, does all that benefit you? Even if they say, oh, you did a nice job, your son is this, he got a beautiful virgin wife and blah blah blah, but you close the door and you hate her,
Yeah, but you
you're not
got you got
satisfied.
to understand, some people live for the cheers.
For the cheers. Okay.
Some people live for the cheers. It
Okay.
matters to them most what other people think about them. And if, you know, they get to a certain point where they think they're a disappointment, then,
Mm-hmm.
some people have, went to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all know what the extreme is
Mm-hmm.
once, you feel like you're a disappointment,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
But I think I agree with you that we're getting away from that, because now we even have the pastors who want their wives to dress a certain way, and because they want to see their wife look good, they want a woman that looks beautiful to them, to their eyes. So they even buy those type of things for their wives, and of course the congregation doesn't like it, and they may have a problem with it. But at the end of the day, they're standing up and saying, "Listen, I got to look at her. I'm still a man first." You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
heard a lot of pastors say stuff like
Yeah,
that,
I mean, some men choose famous women to marry in the church. They pastor the church, and the church have a problem because she's a sexy woman. The movie but it's still what they like. It's what they want, and it's what they like. And so it's that person doing something wrong because that's their job. That's the job. That's what I was doing. I play these roles. I take these roles.
Like,
You
what you
know?
mean? Like, you talking about the first lady or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different thing. I
Hmm.
mean, you dressing sexy. A lot of that is you, the way you dress. You,
But if your husband's buying the clothes,
yeah, but you're supposed to be, you're supposed to set an example. You chose a position where the position is to lead by example
but
for
if
the
your
most part.
husband bought the dress and said, I want you to wear that, you're not supposed to listen to your husband because you're worried about what the congregation is going to say?
Uh, if he's telling you something wrong,
Why do you think it's wrong?
Because that is a position that you chose to take.
But why can't she be sexy?
You don't supposed
Why
to
is
be,
that wrong? Tell me why that's wrong.
because you're being enticing in front of a congregation.
Enticing to who?
Enticing to the men.
But
Some
who
of the
problem
women.
is that?
Well, you're
Is
being,
it her? Is she sinning or the men sinning?
you sinning for
How?
dressing like that.
Why?
That's why the elderly didn't dress like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see a lot of religions make their women cover up,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want the men to be enticed by
Mm-hmm.
you being up in church and you looking at the first lady and your wood standing. You don't need to be,
Mm-hmm.
because she's dressing like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big advocate of that, because listen, I don't got a problem with a woman dressing sexy. That's
Mm-hmm.
me, because like I say, I'm borderline slime ball. But when you take a certain position,
Mm-hmm.
then I expect you to uphold that position to the utmost respect, because you got to understand, you got youth coming up behind you,
Mm-hmm.
you got the children watching, and they hold you to a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where they get this, they want to be on OnlyFans, and they want to start, shaking their asses all over the place. Well, let them go and get that from somewhere else. There's plenty enough places where they can learn how to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
when they come here, I expect them to get some kind of balance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm out here being a wild. I'm borderline 304. I'm right at that point where I don't know if I want to go all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
She don't know, right? But at least when I come to church, you can show me a way that I can be respectable.
Mm-hmm.
I can be, have some kind of standard. You don't want them to be able to go out there. Then when they get to church, they see basically the same thing where you just left from.
Well, what if the first lady have a body that is hard to not see her curves?
You can cover it up.
I mean, she can be covered, but you still see her curves.
You can cover it up.
Kevin and Caprice. Let's talk relationships.